one house in Surrey Downs. That wasn't condemned.
Where's this family now?
They're staying with relatives.
Locally?
Yes.
Yep. And then just 2 streets over, right before you hit Route 9, two-year-old males, and the crashing down right on top. Fortunately, the way that the tree was situated, there was a large branch that hung off the bottom. That got caught on the road before the main truck smashed their car. Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. They actually walked away. Yeah.
Plus, at 7 o'clock last night, it goes without saying, it's driving rain.
Yes.
Winds are high, so it's not like it happens when you're dry and like it is now, right?
A 15-20-minute storm. The amount of damage that it did within that amount of time.
Crazy. We were just saying, this was a very deeply intense particular storm where it hit. It wasn't a broad base storm. It really, where it hit deeply.
And like from here all the way out to like the Colts Neck, you see like multiple yards where large trees like this are just uprooted, and a lot of them are laying right across power lines. So you know,
that's what we're dealing with.
JCP&L can't do anything until you have a tree company come in and remove it. So you know, they definitely have a lot of work ahead of them.
They have their work cut out.
But when the storm first hit, we went right on social media and said don't expect power beyond for at least a couple days.
Yeah.
You know?
You're probably right about that.
Yeah. But
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Governor.
You have a few seconds to talk about what you're seeing?
What kind of report are you getting from JCP&L on how quickly they can?
So I've spoken to the leadership at both JCP&L and PSE&G within the past couple of hours. There's still about just under 200,000 outages in the state. 3/4 of them are JCP&L. About a quarter are PSE&G, and there's a little bit for Rockland and a little bit for Atlantic City, but it's overwhelmingly those two. They've got the bigger task in front of them. They are bringing in, I think they said 800 out-of-state line men and women, many of them from the First Energy Network, which they're a part of. PSE&G is bringing in, I think they said 500 or more from out-of-state, and in some cases out of the country. A bunch of them are coming in from Canada, and we had to facilitate their entry this morning. PSE&G has a more, at least at this point, a more specific glide path to getting towards zero. They think they get a big chunk of their about 50,000 cut in half overnight till tomorrow, and then cut in half or more till Thursday, and then down to the odds and ends by Friday. Again, if you're out of power, you're not an odds or an end, right? So you're pulling your hair out, so I don't make light of that. JCP&L has just got a lot more volume to deal with. And in each of the cases, but you can see it here, you've got trees are a major part of this. So this wasn't just wind damage where the line went down or a substation overheated or blew out. This is the complication of trees and power lines. Having said that, they pointed me this morning toward a similar but slightly slower glide path that ends this weekend. But there's a long way to go in both of their cases, and we'll stay very close to each of them. Again, the fact that the out-of-state workers are coming in that size certainly is going to help.
Do you see any state help as far as homeowners in situations like that?
We always, Dan Kelly, who's our emergency management point person, is always by my side when we make these tours. And the answer is we will look at every angle, including federal, with no promises, because the bogeys, particularly on the federal side, are very high. But we'll make sure, and I think the big message for folks is if they have damage, and this is extreme, and please God, thank God there was not a loss of life or injury here, but it's incumbent upon everybody to make sure they document what their expenses and losses are.
You said that most of the damage to the power system is JCP&L.
3/4 of it.
PSE&G is bringing in 500 linemen from out of territory. JCP&L is bringing in 800. That's not the right proportion to a 3/4, 1/4.
Don't hold me to that. And those are that's my recollection or understanding of it. And they may well each be doing other moves. I will tell you one other piece of this is that PSE&G have committed, if they achieve their glide path faster than JCP&L. They'll throw their linemen and women on JCP&L's cleanup at that point. I should also say this: the counties that were most hit were in Monmouth. That's the king of the hill in terms of the outages, and then Ocean and Burlington are behind that, and then Camden and Mercer got nicked up, but not nearly to the extent that those three counties did.
But those numbers for JCP&L and PSENG sound satisfactory to you at this point?
I'm not an expert. I mean, I can't opine on that. I do know that this is really complicated with the trees, and so that's going to be a multi. And by the way, that impacts transit. It impacts. The Atlantic City line is down because of downed trees. The Princeton Dinky is down because of trees. So they're cross-honoring bus opportunities. I'm in this county, so in Middletown, the signals up and down Route 35 are knocked out because of the power. So there are right-of-way issues. I should remind everybody, if you're watching, if the signals are out and there isn't a public safety officer there, it automatically becomes a four-way stop. There's no right-of-way. So with that, I'm headed over now to the county operations center over in Freehold and in here in Monmouth County, and we'll stay on this. I mean, as it relates to your question, Brian, I'm not an expert, but I am an expert, and we're going to stay very close to this. We have to get to batting 1,000 as fast as possible, and we're committed to doing what we can to get there. Thank you all.
Governor.
Thank you, Governor.
Good to see you all. Watch your step here. Hey, Senator. How are you, man? You all right?
Thanks for coming down.
Oh, my honor. You kidding me? I need to get one of your fancy.
We can arrange that. We can arrange that. I have to clear it soon.
Oh, yeah, please make sure there's. I don't want to have any scandals. I had lunch with him last week. I could have worn it.
By the way, the papers called me. So
You want to get them in because we're still up. We're still up on DeGio. I don't know if we're on the web or. Yeah, we can get them.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Watch your step on your foot here.
you watch your step. You got an important mission.
I gotta stay out from under any trees here.
I know there was a news crew this morning asking about it, and that's what I heard, that they went to stay with additional family.
Right.